Mevio here in another figure forge. In this figure forge, we're going to assemble half of the Cygnar Stormwall Colossus. I'm only going to do half of it because most of the parts are identical from side to side. Today we're going to use Zap Gel and maybe some Zap-A-Gap super glue. I've already cleaned the model and taken the time to sort it out to figure out kind of how I'm going to need to do it, because there are a lot of pieces to this model. And with that being said, I didn't want to take 2 hours to assemble it in case I ran into problems. That's why we're only going to focus on one side of this model. So we're going to start by taking this kind of cannon looking piece and putting it in the center of this torso here. And this piece actually goes, this is the front, that's the front, and the piece that kind of looks like a cap to the end of a boiler or whatever is the back end of it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some gel, a good liberal amount because that's pretty deep. I'm going to put it around the sides here of this model, and then when I slide it into the female end, it'll ooze out to the top of the model. Now I'm going to go ahead and slide it in the wrong direction, and I'm going to spin it to make sure it has a good seal. Now, at this point, if you want your model, your torso, to be any other direction other than forward, this is where you would make that adjustment. You would make that adjustment right now. So I am going to, just for the first one I make, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And I am actually going to grab a clamp and clamp this piece so it dries fairly well. Maybe I'm going to clamp it. Yeah, that's working. So I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. And then I'm going to move on to one of the lightning pods. And I'm going to start by gluing it on the base. There's a little piece there I need to clean off. And then I'm just going to pick away that I want it on here, and I'm going to glue it and hold it until it's dry. And again, I'm going to use gel for this because I don't like the way gel runs all over bases. Hold that there pretty much till it dries. Or until you get tired of holding it. And then I'm going to set these pieces aside, make sure it dries before I come back and do the other parts. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab the right foot. I think I'm doing the right side. Yep, the right foot. And I'm going to grab the main leg. Now, I'm going to let you know that there was a good bit of cleanup on this model. When I did the box breaking, I said it was really, really clean. I was wrong until I started getting ready to assemble it, and then I could see a lot of areas. Now I'm going to zoom in more so you can get a good look at this foot. There's a divot right there for this slotted notch. That slotted notch will slide right in there, and then there's this little polygon shaped divot here that goes in that side of the foot. And it looks like I got a little bit more cleanup to do real quick, so I'm going to go ahead and do that on camera. Now, a lot of this is going to be really hidden, and you know, with battle damage and stuff, there's a lot of things you can do to hide that too, and it goes in there like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put some gel in there and some gel in there, and I'll admit it was pretty slick of them to put the male ends on the opposite sides of the foot for this. It'll give it a better bond in the long run. And you go like that, you squeeze them together, and you set it aside and you let it dry. Now if you have small clamps for this, or a pin vise would even be better, and you're not rushing like I am to try and be done in an hour, the best thing you could do is just set this aside for a few hours and just let it dry so that bond sticks. But we don't have that kind of time on a video. So I am going to attempt to clamp this piece with another clamp that's a little bit bigger. This is actually too big. Do I have another? I don't think this is going to work, but I'm going to give it a whirl. And that should hold it in place. Set that aside and let it dry. How's this doing? Didn't dry well. The best thing you could really do to this is put a pin in the middle from here to there, or if you have a piece of resin or something that you could fill that with, or fill it with epoxy and then put it in. I'm going to go ahead and put a little more glue on this. Where's my gel? Put more glue here, here, and here to try and get it to bond faster, so we can move on and not totally bore everybody. And I want mine to be straight, so I'm going to try and line it up as best I can. We're going to move on to the big torso piece here. I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit, it's so big. And I'm going to put some gel right in here for the head. It's not a perfect fit. It has a little bit of a neck. If you don't want that neck, you can always round that out a little bit with a drill bit, or you can file the pewter down a little bit. For me, that's okay. I kind of like having a neck on my jacks. I'm going to put some gel in there. That was probably too much. It's going to ooze out a little bit, but that's okay. And again, the gel is going to take probably close to 24 hours to set up. And while I'm here, I might as well go ahead and grab this piece. This piece goes right here, like this, anywhere in here, as best I can tell from the drawings. Both of the instruction diagrams, or the instruction diagram I said on both sides, has it about here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, there is one drawback to using gel. It oozes out of your tube, so make sure you have a place to put it. I'm not sure it dries any faster, but when you're working with some big pieces, sometimes the gel is easier to work with because it's thick. And as soon as this sets, I will glue to my finger and set it aside. See, if I set this aside right now, it's going to fall off because it's going to roll around. Where's the? Okay. Now I'm going to set this aside real quick. Hopefully it won't roll too much. Put a clamp underneath it so it doesn't roll. And then we're going to grab my leg and see how it's doing. Now, real quick note about this piece here. This piece is a foot guard cover. It goes like this and latches on there. I am not going to do that today. I'm not going to put that on because I think the foot will be a lot easier to paint with this off. and I may decide to go ahead and drill pins through there and just hang it on so it like flaps in the wind, flaps when he walks, per se. It's just a little neat thing that can be done to it to make it look better and more interesting. So, with that being said, the leg is really about done. It goes in here like this, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and drop some gel in here. And I'll drop a little bit of gel in here right away too, just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and push this in here, like that. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to take this piece that looks like, kind of like brass knuckles, and I'm going to put it on here and kind of kill two birds with one stone. And as soon as I get this to set, I can lay this aside, and I'm actually done with this piece pretty much until I go to put the torso on, and I'll talk about that while I'm getting this piece to set. And I just broke my model because I wasn't waiting long. See that nub there? That nub holds that piece right there in place. Now, this is really light in comparison to the rest of the model. I don't think you need to pin it, but if you want to pin it, you can easily pin this model. It will not be a problem. And I glued my hand there. Now, in the future when I make this model, I will definitely pin the legs, because that's a big pewter piece to a soft resin piece. And it's not wanting to hold. Whereas if I would have pinned it, I'd have been able to set it aside already and move on to the next portion of the wall. And there is no easy way to clamp this piece. I can, however, set it down like this and let gravity do the work, which I'm going to do. Now I'm going to come back here to this piece. I'm probably going to end up pinning this piece. Especially since I just glued my finger to it. Now, I'm going to show you something I did wrong. I'm going to go ahead and go to the other piece. See that? Oh, it's not really there on that piece either. There's a little divot there, or was there, and it's supposed to fit in that slide. But I don't have that problem, or I don't have that, so I can't do that. Just a little more gel. Get this in here. Maybe it'll stay this time. While I'm doing that, I can go ahead and put a drop of gel in there and hold back one of the little igniters. And I'll just kind of hold this in place. Again, now if I pinned any of these pieces, they would all pretty much be staying as soon as I did this. Put a little gel on the lip. Yeah, that'll hold that. Not right away, of course, but that'll hold better. And that piece doesn't like me. Superglow says count to 10 and it'll hold. I don't believe him. Now, if I was using liquid super glue with this, there'd be glue all over the place because the weather outside right now is kind of frightful for super glue. It's humid, which makes the super glue seem to be thinner, whereas when it's cold it seems to be more viscous, which is why I bought the gel for this project. Whether or not there's any scientific fact to that or not is another story. Now, we're going to move on to the arms a little bit, and I'm going to grab this guy again real quick just so I can show you. This is the ball joint. It's made of a different resin, probably a different strength of plastics, and it goes in here like this. Now, what I noticed is the two sides seem to be a little different. One fits snugly in one side, but not in the other. This one seems to fit in this side better, so I'm going to use it in this side. And it wants to kind of sit like this to be in the joint. Now, this is going to be a tricky glue because it's so deep. And actually, for this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the Zap-A-Gap and let it run down in there. And I'm going to put this in here. These are the joints to the arm that go on the inside, so that they'll go like this. Here's the head, so they'll go like this in here to this side. And I'm just going to let that sit there and dry. That's already dry. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to show you real quick that this goes here like this. And you can, hose ability, you can do whatever you want with it. Now I'm going to use the Zap-A-Gap again on the resin. Actually, I'm going to use my bottle that's for smaller amounts, just one drop. And I'm going to go ahead and get that on there and get it dry. Maybe. Okay, that's dry. Now this piece here kind of looks like a face guard. It's really kind of a simple design. It goes here just like this. Boom. And that's what it's going to look like when it hits onto the model. And I'm going to go ahead and put a drop of glue here. And on the outside of it. And the face guard portion does go to the inside of the model, which from a physics point of view seems a little odd to me. But they have this flat part to the outside, and that flat part there is actually for this piece. It goes on there like that. Which I'm going to go ahead and do that piece next. And I'm going to use gel for that piece because if I put glue on that, I think it's going to run all over the model. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on there like this. Hold it in place until it dries. I'm going to have to do a little bit of putty filling there. But, comparison to the rest of the model, that's really pretty good. There is, I got super glue on my fingers, so I'm starting to stick to everything. On the one side it's really good, and on the other side it's not as good, but that's okay. A little bit of putty is acceptable. Now while that's drying more, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a drop of glue in here, drop in here, and then I'm going to hit the top with a little bit of gel. I'm going to grab the two other pieces that go there and put them in. And as you can see, some of that glue ran down there already. Into some of the nooks and crannies and the crevices. So let's see if I can't get a little bit of that out. These little foam pieces that they give you to protect their models are really good for that. And if worse comes to worse, what you can do is you can just use it to rub them into place. I don't even know where the heck all that glue came from. Oh, it came from here. Look at that, it ran out there. And you can just use it to smooth it out and feather it out. Now, we're gonna come, it's not holding yet, darn it. I was hoping this piece would have been dry by now, dry enough to work with. I gotta put it back and let it dry a little bit more. So I guess we're gonna go right here. We're gonna go back to working on this model here some more. The big center torso piece. Zoom out a little bit. Now I'm gonna keep it zoomed in on where I'm working. Right there like that. And again, this is a big joint, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use gel for this so it doesn't run all over the model. Now this little flash guard right here with all the dots and the divots, according to the pictures on the instructions, it goes to the top. I personally kind of like it that way, but I plan on selling this model, so I'm gonna do what the instructions say. There does seem to be one drawback with gel, it takes longer to dry. And this is a pretty heavy pewter piece, this Gatling gun piece that I'm holding here to dry. So that might make it take a little bit longer to dry. And you can really, the posability on the Gatling gun is pretty much, since it's round, man, you can have it pointing up, down. They don't have airplanes yet in this game, but I would imagine they're going to. They're heading that route. Steam-powered jet engines. Wait, that wouldn't be a jet. And that piece is in there. And since I want to give that other piece a little bit more time to dry, I'm going to set the torso off camera and give it some more time to dry on areas. And I'm going to grab the lightning rod thingy and show you real quick that there's a divot there and there's a divot on the other side, and that's where you put your little drop of glue. And there's a little peg right there on the model that goes in there, just like that. Now these are a little bit of a pain because they're open. They don't actually, they only have a 1 point to glue with. Magnetizing these wouldn't be difficult. You just pop a magnet on there, a 1mm magnet, and you're done. Well, 2 1mm magnets, but you're done. And then as far as storage goes, these will store pretty easy. But the Colossal, that's going to need a lot of space. I thought about magnetizing it, but I don't really see an effective way to do it yet. The resin on the torso and that's pretty hollow. The torso's pretty big. Maybe magnetize it so it comes off the top. Uh-oh, I just broke it. I do more damage than good. Now if you have Zip Kicker, which I'm not sure where mine's at, I haven't seen it since Origins. I could have sprayed this with Zip Kicker and set this down and been done. I don't like Zip Kicker. It seems to weaken the glue. It seems to weaken the bond that the glue creates, I should say. Now I'm going to grab the leg and the torso piece. There's another one of these for this side. It goes right here, and then the other leg goes there. But what I wanted to focus on is, oh, I really can't yet. I was going to focus on this piece. I really can't. Because it goes on with the torso. No, it goes in there one way. So now I have to go back to holding this piece. And since I put actual glue in it, I'm going to regret this. Yep. This is where pin vise would be, or a vise would be handy. I don't have one. And I just glued my finger to it. Twice, 3 times, 4 times. Now, this piece, best I can tell, just rests somehow like that. I'm not going to really know until I go and I put this on here. Like this. And actually, I see how it rests now. It goes in here. Like, oh. Goes in there like that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the top on. And put that piece in all at the same time. Because I want to be able to move the torso when I do it. And that's what it should look like when you're done with it. Where's my tape measure? I'm going to say this model is, I don't know, about 8 inches tall. Right down. And then there's these pieces. Apparently there's 4 of them. Oh, I should have probably put those in already. I need something to point with. There's a divot right there. And a divot right there. And a ball joint there. And a ball joint there. And these pieces go in here. And they fit into them. So when you do this at home, don't do what I just did. Because now I'm going to have a hard time putting these in here. Assemble them on the top of the torso first. And where are my tweezers? I kind of think I'm going to need them. Got one in. Move to the other one. Not easy to do this. Tweezers are not the right angle. Well, once you get it up there, I guess it's not so bad. Definitely do this first on your kit at home. Because this is not easy. Especially since my glue dried. So now I gotta drill this out a little bit. Which is no biggie. And this piece dried. Which is no biggie. What am I doing? Put a piece of gel here. I'm gonna drop there. This is tough, people. Half tempted to break it apart and start it over. Oh, man, I dropped it. Oh man, I had it and I dropped it. Get in there. As soon as I get this closer, got it. That took a little bit of work. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab pieces for the other side and I'm going to do them now before I forget. So you can see the way it should be done at home. Now I didn't clean them, so I'm going to have to clean them real quick. They're not a lot, just a little bit of flashing. And they are little, so you go ahead and you grab your glue, drop there, drop there, drop there, drop there. And I'm going to go ahead and say, you go ahead and put it in here like this, and rotate it around. Spin it in. And you do the same thing on this side because it's easier to hold that way. And you spin it in. And that's how they go in. It's actually, so far, it's been a pretty simple model to put together. I really don't see where that goes. We're going to go ahead and we're going to work on the, ooh, they cut it. The hand that needs some serious cleanup. Easy enough. And if somebody stole my sandpaper, some coarse sandpaper works wonders on this stuff. We'll go ahead and put the hand in here like this. That's how it goes. Heck, you almost don't even need glue. And I'm going to put a drop of glue there. That was a big drop, but that's life. Put that hand in there. The hand is in there. Zoom out just a hair so you can see the whole model as it's been assembled thus far. And I've got these two pieces left. They go on the back. Right here. They go here. And here. Just a drop. I'm going to use liquid glue on this. Actually, I lied. I got one more piece after this. Let those dry for 10-15 seconds. And I'm going to try and figure out where the crest goes on the model. Oh, it goes right there. Just like that. So I'll go ahead and put tiny, tiny drop there. And let it dry. I'm going to set it off screen and I'm going to finish the shield or the lightning charger. Yeah. Put a dap of Zap-A-Gap in here. Put that in there like that. Set it aside. No. I wanted to set it aside and let it dry. But obviously I can't do that yet. There's that. Grab the half of the model. There is half of the Cygnar Stormwall assembled with one of its lightning pods. And since the model is the same on both sides, I'm not going to go ahead and do that because that took me about 40 minutes or so. Another 40 minutes of doing the same stuff would probably bore you in my opinion. And this is actually a little bit more than the whole model. You can see where things go, and actually I think when I do another one of these, I don't like that there. I'm gonna turn the arm more so it has more rotation to it. Since these are all ball joints, I can do whatever I want really. And I'm gonna have that on pop. That's just me. And later on, after I paint the model, or after whoever paints the model, the lace cover goes there. Matt Lepke with Through Gamer Goggles, gamer-goggles.com. If you're watching this on our blog and you liked what you saw, this has been a figure forge of the Stormwall Colossus for Cygnar, and all of the social media links that you might want are on the right hand side of your screen if you want to follow us. Thank you and have a good day. I hope you enjoyed this video.